Alright, this is Modern Anti-Federalist again, doing another video today. Today, as you can see, we got two AR-15s. Both have spikes uppers. One has a Palmetto State Armory lower. Built both of these custom builds. At any rate, what we're going to do today is we're not going to look so much at the weapons themselves, but we're going to look at the optics. Alright? We have an Eotech 5.52, and over here we have a Vortex Strikefire. Now, normally when you see these videos, people are doing a Aimpoint versus Eotech, and that's a personal preference. But what I'm doing is going to touch on that and why I have the Strikefire and why I have the Eotech. Now, if you take these weapons shooting, what I find is, well, first off, let's take a look at their displays. Alright? Now, these weapons are clear condition 4. As you can see, weapon on safe. Now, if you see, alright, that's what the Eotech is working with. We'll talk about that in a minute. Here you can see just, oh, there we go, just a red dot. Now, so we have these two optics. Now, for all extensive purposes, the way a Strikefire works and the way a Aimpoint works, they're both single dots, cool, and the Eotech has that heads-up display. Now, what I've found when shooting for slow, accurate shots, the Strikefire, perfect. For snap shooting, if you don't know what that means basically just pulling up the weapon up and trying to get a quick, accurate shot off. The Eotech, hands down, way better for fast shots. Now, interestingly though, when I zeroed these two optics, I took them out at the range the same day. The Eotech took me almost 40 rounds to actually get zeroed doing just those slow, accurate shots. And that's kind of ridiculous, actually. It took me a lot. However, it took me 10 rounds to do the Vortex Strikefire, which is about right. It's about how long it should take, several different groups. And actually, maybe a lot of it's the upper, but with that Vortex Strikefire, my groups were I mean, they were touching. It was amazing. That was beautiful. The Eotech, not so much, but the target would have been hit, and if you were against an enemy, they would not be doing too well. They'd be hit. But for accuracy, the Strikefire did great. Now, why am I doing Vortex Strikefire versus Eotech? Now, because really I have these optics for two different reasons. A, the Vortex Strikefire I picked up from Palmetto State Armory for $100. And the Eotech, it's about $540 or whatever a few years ago. Now, both are great optics. Would I take the Strikefire into combat? Probably not. Would I take the Eotech into combat? Actually, probably not. If I had to take a weapon into combat right now out of these two, yes, it would be this one right here. This is an awesome weapon setup, but that can be a story for a different day. But honestly, unless you're actually planning on going to war, which you're probably not, and if you are, you're issued it, you don't need this, but if you want it, go for it. The Strikefire would serve you perfect for just for you want a red dot for shooting at the range. If you're shooting at the range, get a Vortex Strikefire and call it a day. Alright, now if you need something more tactical, maybe if you're doing a sport with firearms that requires you to have fast snap shooting, then the Eotech is awesome. Okay, but there's no reason to spend $500 some on an optic that you're not going to use. You can get an Eotech 512 for about maybe 360 or something. So that's a good way to go. Now the reason I have this is because I'm using it for night vision. You know, both do have night vision capabilities though. This right here is actually an infrared laser. ITOL or OTOL, whatever, made by L3. Awesome piece of kit. And that's for night shooting. And I can take this rear Troy optic off or optic iron sight and put a PVS-14 mount or use the PVS-14 head mounted however I want. But this setup is intended for night shooting. But both of these, really, at the end of the day, I'm not going to war with these. I'm taking my M16 that I'm issued. These are just high-end toys. So if you're looking for a red dot, if you don't need the Eotech unless you're doing snap shooting, and if you like just the red dot itself, I highly recommend checking out the Strikefire. Both are great. The Aimpoints are great. There's no trashing any of these optics. It's just, do you really need to spend the money? Alright, and you know what, now since I'll go ahead and finish up the video because I know people are going to ask, like, what do you got going here? Alright, this weapon. Spikes upper, spikes lower. It has the enhanced lower with, it's got the nickel boron trigger and trigger hammer. The bolt carrier group is nickel boron. Complete waste of money, honestly. Phosphate's fine. You don't need this. In fact, from what I understand, these flake off, but you know what? I just felt like building a really crazy rifle. It's got a ergo grip, love it. Troy forward grip, you can unscrew this and this section comes out. You can put batteries in there. You can this is a B5 SOP mod. No, actually this is the LMT SOP mod and that's the B5, but they're identical. They both have little battery compartments on both of these. They both have anti-walk pins, and these that's Troy rear sight, that's got it too. And these are QD mounts that not only increase reliability by, well, obviously you should have your castle nut staked, but this goes over it, increases reliability, and you can put QD mounts on either side. It also has a CAC rail, the Knights Armament RAS rail, and that's pretty much this rifle. Right, up here, spikes upper. It was a palmetto start armory lower, hoe grip. The lower parts gets PSA. Once again, the anti-walk pins. This has a Spikes tactical bolt carrier group, and once again the Troy, some more, the Strikefire. It's free floating, very accurate, very accurate. Both of these weapons are great, but I was astounded with the accuracy of this weapon. One more thing, coming back here, I forgot. I have a regular charging handle on this one. I have one of those crazy Bravo company ones on this one. I think it's the medium or large, whatever. I'm not a fan of these. I tried it out I tried it out with an upper. I'm not a huge fan. I just needed the charging, or I wanted to try out this and didn't really care for it. I prefer the regular charging handle, and that's what I use, the regular charging handle. At any rate, I'll stop with this. This is probably enough for now. And alright, those are that's my optics review.